Welcome back. This is the fourth video in this series about getting unstuck. In the last video, we looked at what to do when everything feels too much, the headlights, the 60 meters of road, and the next visible move. But that usually brings up a question. Maybe you already asked that question. Which road? Which path do I take? Because it's one thing to take the next small step. It's another thing when you're standing where the road splits, 2 directions, 3 directions, 4 directions in front of you, and you've been standing there for a month trying to make up your mind. So in this session, I want to show you 3 things. One, why you can't choose, and it's not because the options are too hard. Two, the question you're asking that's keeping you there, keeping you stuck, stopping you from making a choice. And three, the question that actually gets you moving, that helps you move past that and actually make a decision. So let's start with why can't you choose? Here's what I see almost every time in coaching sessions. You're not looking for the right choice. You're looking for certainty. So we think I'm trying to figure out which one is the right choice. But actually, we are trying to make a choice that we feel certain about. Because if you could just be certain, then you'd know it's going to work out. And if you knew it's going to work out, you could back yourself. You could be confident. You could go for it. So you go and get more information. Read another article, another podcast, another YouTube video, another person's opinion. And then you ask around, you ask your partner, your friends. Maybe they've done something similar. You ask the person at the bar who happens to work in that industry to get more information to gather that certainty that this is the right choice. But that's not what we are looking for here. It's not about the right choice. And you're not going to get certainty and get a guarantee about this is the right choice. It looks like you're gathering information when you do all of that, but you're not. You're gathering confirmation. And there are 2 layers to it, which is why it never lands, why you never can make that choice. The first layer is confirmation that this is the right path, which I discussed already. The second layer is confirmation that you will be able to do it, or that you're even allowed to have that it's okay for someone like you to go after it. Now, there are 2 questions. You keep asking yourself why you stand there. Is this the right choice? And will I be okay? To simplify that. Is this the right choice? Will I be okay? And those 2 questions feel like you're thinking, you're figuring things out. They feel productive, but they are not. They are the brakes. And I want you to hear the difference because it really matters more than you might think. A wall stops you. A brake is something you are applying. You are pressing down on the brakes, usually without noticing it. And then you wonder why you can't move forward, why you can't make a choice. So we need to go one layer deeper here, one layer down, because a question sometimes is not just a question. Each one of those questions, is this the right path? Will I be okay? Sits on a belief, right? It sits on a belief. So the beliefs might sound like this. If I choose wrong, this will fail. If I have to be certain for this to work, sorry, I messed that up. If I choose wrong, this will fail. I have to be certain for this to work. I have to be certain about the choice. Otherwise, this won't work. And the right path will work out, guaranteed. Okay, so let me go through them again. If I choose wrong, this will fail. That's the first one. The second one, I have to be certain for this to work. And the third one, the right path will work out. So those aren't facts about your decision. Those are beliefs about how life works. And you've been treating them as rules about making decisions, about success. Okay. Now, I'm not standing outside of all of this. I know what this feels like. I've done all of it, and I'll probably do it again. So, which brings us to the guarantee hiding inside of the word right. Ask yourself what you actually mean when you say you want to make the right choice. Not what the dictionary says it means, your meaning. Because when we say the right path, I want to do the right thing, I want to make the right choice, we don't just mean it's a suitable one, we mean guaranteed. Guaranteed that it's right for me, guaranteed that I'll be able to do it, guaranteed that it'll be easier than the other path, that it'll flow, that the results will come and come reasonably soon. Nobody really thinks about it that way, but that is what we are doing. But that's the promise that's the promise that you've attached to the word, that guarantee. So if I say it another way, it'll sound like this. You're not trying to pick a path, you're trying to buy insurance. And no amount of research sells you that insurance policy, which is why you can read for a year and still not move. Now, the pivot, because this is the part I really want you to get to understand. Let's say you finally pick one and you start going down that path. A few weeks in or a few months in, you hit a really hard part, an obstacle, a challenge, something that challenges what you're currently good at, something you have to figure out, learn, or become better at. What happens in your head then? You think, I should have taken the other road. Maybe this wasn't the right choice. Why? Because of the promise. If this is the right path, it would be flowing. So if it's not flowing, it must be wrong. So you pivot. You go back to the crossroads and take the other path, or you go a different direction completely. And that road also has a hard path, another obstacle, a difficult part to figure out. So you pivot again. And that's the stuck loop once again. And I want you to be careful here, because that loop doesn't look like being stuck. It looks like being decisive, changing your mind. And I am a big believer of, if you change your mind, you can transform your life, definitely. But in this case, you're just driving in circles. You're just going back and then trying another road. And if that doesn't work, trying another road. And if there's no more roads left, you go to a different crossroads and repeat the process. That's why people sometimes can't make progress in their businesses. They stay stuck, or in their lives, or in their relationships, whatever theme or area of life we want to talk about. So consider this. The difficulty wasn't evidence. So when the difficult part comes, we think, oh, this is proof that maybe I chose wrong. It's not. The difficulty was the road asking you to become better at something, to improve on something, to develop a skill. So first, something you probably already know, but haven't let yourself use. When there's no clear winner between two options, it usually means they're more or less the same. You win a bit here, you lose a bit there. That's it. That's why it's close. That's why it's hard to choose. So the whole time you've been trying to work out which one is right, you've been solving a problem that doesn't exist. It was never a right or wrong problem. It's often a commitment problem. And what you're really avoiding isn't the wrong road, it's what it would say about you if you commit and it didn't work. If you didn't push through, if you couldn't figure it out, or if you commit and it's a success, it works. Who will you need to become then? What will that say about you? What challenges will that bring? How will people think or see about you? Think about you and see you. So we need a different question. Some people will tell you to ask which one excites you, which path excites you. And I don't think that works, because the path will be scary. It'll be confusing. It'll be unclear. Maybe for quite a while, maybe for quite a bit into the road. And excitement is a terrible, horrible compass in the dark, trying to figure out something. So you'll actually have to get moving. So ask these questions instead. Ask this instead. Which path takes me closer to the person I actually want to be? So let's say you jump ahead 10 years. Think about how you want to show up in the world by then. Which of these two roads gets you nearer to that person? Which of these roads will shape that person? Not which one is safer, not which one is right. Which one grows you into the version of you that shows up as the best version possible, more often for longer? That question has an answer. You can answer it today. You probably already know. Standing right where you are now, without any new information, you already know. And it usually doesn't feel like excitement, it feels scary. And that's usually a very good indication. So let me show you what I mean from my own life. In 2008, I left full-time ministry. My wife and I moved to Cape Town. So I moved towns, I quit my career path, and I got married. 3 major life changes, moved to a new town as well, obviously. And I had maybe 5 doors open in front of me. I could do church consulting, couples therapy. I could mentor teenagers in addiction, drug addiction specifically was one of the choices back then. I could pursue music, I could pursue theater, I could be a teacher. Lots of different options. I couldn't choose. So I did what many of us do. I read 4 books a week that year. I had all the time to do it. I did courses, I journaled, I prayed, I asked everyone I trusted, what do you think? And everybody was great, lovely, kind. They encouraged me. But no one could give me what I was actually after. It was not possible, which was a guarantee. Which is the right choice for me? Which path am I supposed to take? What am I meant for? What's my purpose? All those questions are the same question. Is this the right road? And if it's my purpose, my passion, a purpose from God, a mission from God, then I know that it will be guaranteed and I'll feel safe and I can go after it, etc. But that was the worst year of my life by far. By far. I had so much to give and nobody to give it to because I couldn't choose. And it's a longer story, but for this video, what actually helped me break through, it wasn't um, clarity or guarantee in terms of a, a clear guarantee. That's what I want to say. It was two friends approaching me, asking me to help them with some inner healing work. We started meeting once a week. Then they invited other people who also wanted to do this work. I was like, okay, fine. And what actually happened to my original question? What's the right path? What am I supposed to do? It stopped being which path is the right path, and it became how do I get more people into this program? How do I share this with more people? Because it was very effective. It helped a lot of people. So as soon as I ended with one group, there was another group waiting and so forth. And I realized if I want to really pour my energy into this, I have to figure out things. I have to figure out how do I build a website? I had to figure out marketing. Two things I knew nothing about, nothing. And I was really bad at. Being in ministry is, well, some ministers do market, but I wasn't good at marketing as a minister. So that was hard. That was really, really hard to do. But I never once thought I picked the wrong path because the questions I was asking at that point had changed. It wasn't a verdict or a evidence that I've chosen the wrong path when something difficult came up, like marketing and building websites and figuring out how do I help people find the website. And once they do, how do I know these are the right people to work with that I can help? I had to figure all of that out. But that was just part of being on the road. There were times when I doubted, when I thought maybe I should move into this more, move into that more. But every time I asked, okay, 10 years from now, what kind of impact would I want to make? And will this road take me closer to that person I want to be? It's the same for these videos. Figuring this out is hard. So that's the whole thing. It's just the work you have to do on the path. Some parts of the road will be smooth and others will be difficult. So at the crossroads, the question is which road when you are standing there with your foot on the brake. But once you're moving, the question becomes, how do I do this? And that's the second question. That second question has an answer. You can figure it out. Next time, we'll look at what happens when you've chosen and you're moving and the people closest to you don't come with you. We'll look at that. But for this video, I want you to go through the steps. Step one, write down the 2 roads, 5 roads, 1 line each on paper. And maybe if you can narrow it down to 2, if that's kind of possible, if you don't feel as strongly about all of them, narrow it down to 2 or 3. So that's step one. Step two, next to each one, answer this. If I chose this path for 10 years, who would I become? So don't write what you would have, write who you'd be if you continue for 10 years. I know it's hard to think in 10 years' time, but look at the trajectory that this path will put you on. And do you like that person that will be shaped by staying on this road? Step three, notice which answer you'd rather live inside. That's your road. It doesn't have to be exciting. It has to be in the direction of that person you want to become. Step four, take your foot off the brake this week. Just that one visible move, drive down a road, pick one, commit to one, because they're probably close to one another, more or less the same in terms of how they will shape you. Pick one. You don't have to do the whole journey or see the whole journey that we discussed in the previous video, just one move. And when that hard part arrives, it definitely will, I want you to say this to yourself. It's not evidence that I chose the wrong path. This is the part of the road that helps me to be better, that challenges me to be better, that needs me to develop skills, that need me to let go of all old limiting beliefs and grow into new ones. So I've also made a free one-page card to walk you through those steps. It's in the links below. And if this helped you see your own crossroads differently, subscribe and join me for the rest of the series. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.